Hello, my name's Calvin Heimburg. I'm here at the Las Vegas Challenge to start the season, and we're going to do a 60-second blitz. And the first question is from Disc Golf Matty P. What is your pre-round routine, do's and don'ts? My pre-round routine kind of changes a little bit depending on when I'm teeing off, if it's earlier versus later, but basically I want to make sure I get a good meal in before I play so that I have energy for the entire round, and then I get to the course probably about an hour early to get some putts and drives up and just start moving around and make sure I'm loose. All right, second question from Ryan Vowell. How do I get more distance if I'm only throwing 380 feet? Well, it's a pretty tough thing to answer because I don't really know how you throw, but in general, a lot of people try to throw too much with their upper body and don't, engage their lower body. I would say it's probably pretty easy to fix with just correcting your footwork. Just watch a bunch of YouTube videos, see how, the top pros are aligning their body before they, kind of explode through the throw. That would probably be the easiest way to get, to 400 and above. Next question from DC Pro. What do you smell like? Well, I think that probably depends on, when you catch me. If it's before I shower or after I shower, how many rounds of disc golf I played. So I don't know how to answer this question. I guess there's only one way to find out. Find me and smell me, I guess. All right, next question. The Reed Banta. What is your beauty routine? It's pretty simple. I put shampoo in my hair and, I wash my body with soap and brush my teeth. So I guess that's it. That's the beauty routine right there. I hope that was enough for you. If you think I should do something else, comment. Next question from Garcia Tortilla Ben. Nice. Why they call you Vinny? Vinny is a nickname that kind of got given to me a while ago back in Florida. I think it was by Max Johnson, but basically it was just Calvin, so they took the last 3 letters of my actual name and just started calling me Vinny. They called me Vinny. Another one of our friends, Randon, they started calling him Donnie. So it's just something that kind of happened and it stuck. So now most people call me Vinny. Next question from Kenny Rex. What run of eagles do you throw? The run of eagles I throw are, I want to say they were produced somewhere in like the 2013 to 15 range. They're just a normal 12-time stock eagle. The run that I throw is opaque, champion plastic, and they're a little stiffer than most runs with champ plastic, stiffer and flatter. So basically they're a little more overstable, I'd say, than most eagles, and they start off very torque resistant and they beat into like really, really straight flyers when thrown with a lot of power. Next question from Bellapock. Favorite band / artist to listen to this week to get hyped for the weekend? Well, I have no clue what it's going to be this weekend, but I actually pick up Zach Melton from the airport later. He generally does the DJing, so we'll see what he decides to put on there. But last year, a lot of it was, I feel like my pre-round band was Destiny's Child last year, but who knows what it'll be this year. I don't know. It changes every week, but that would probably be the main one from last year. All right, Patricio de Pueblo. What inspires his competitive spirit? Biggest sports idols growing up outside of disc golf? Well, I feel like competitiveness is just kind of something that you have or you don't. I don't know. I don't know if I have something that inspires it. It's just something that I just feel like I have it. I don't know. But as far as sports idols growing up, probably, he's not even a player, but I would probably say my biggest sports idol is Bill Belichick. I don't really know why. I just liked him. I'm not even really a Patriots fan. I'm just a Bill Belichick fan. So, I mean, yeah, Bill Belichick. All right. I don't know how to say this. Leighton 97. Okay. Have you ever been to Disney World? If so, favorite ride? Yes, I have been to Disney World. It's been a while, so I don't know what my favorite ride was there. But I have been there. It's been too long to really know what my favorite ride is. It's an hour and a half so far away. I can't possibly drive there all the time. Biggest goal for the 2022 season from Disc Golf Duds. Ooh, that's a tricky one. I mean, the obvious answer is trying to win a major. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing on the bucket list that I haven't done, but I wouldn't say that's like an expectation, but that's something that I think would be really cool to do. But yeah, really it's just go out there, compete to the best of my abilities, and hopefully that puts me in a good place to, be competing for the win on the final round at most tournaments. From Keaton Albs, have you ever applied your engineering training to systematically analyze disc golf? I would say no. I've been playing disc golf way longer than I've had an engineering degree, so I feel like a lot of where I learned disc golf and kind of how I approached the game came from when I was a lot younger, since it's just, yeah, I mean, when you pick up a sport as a kid, things are just a little more natural. You approach them, it's just everything's more fluid. I don't have to really analyze the game as much as I probably would if I didn't pick up the sport until I was an adult. All right, next question from Hachi Alexandra. Or I definitely butchered that, whatever. What mistake do you see most people make with the Destroyer? The mistake I see most people make with the Destroyer is probably trying to get it to go farther than they can actually throw it. The Destroyer is, I mean, it depends on what run of Destroyer you have, but it's an overstable distance driver, and depending on how far you can throw, it really may not be a distance driver, and it may be more of a utility disc for you. So I would say most people try to throw it farther than they physically can because it's a little bit out of their, I guess we would call it, their weight class. But yeah. All right, Will plays disc golf. Favorite type of pizza? As far as food goes, I'm pretty not picky. I'm not picky at all, so I would say everything pizza. You probably couldn't put a pizza in front of me that I wouldn't like, as long as it was like a normal, like you could definitely make a pizza that would be disgusting, but anything that's normal on the menu, I probably would eat it. But I would say everything pizza because I like a little bit of everything. The worst pizza? God, that's a great question. Nothing's coming straight to mind, so I don't think I've had any like terrible pizza experiences. At least nothing that like would make me gag or want to throw up or anything. I mean, there's obviously been, bad, frozen pizzas before, but nothing terrible. All right, why are Skittles the ideal tournament snack? It's because they're Marshawn Lynch's, favorite snack during the game. I don't know. I think typically my tournament snacks they're generally candy. They're generally something very sugary, and it's really just there for me to get like a little bit of boost if I'm starting to feel myself kind of fading, or I feel like, I'm just losing it. So yeah, it's something that can kind of give me a little boost quickly. It'd probably just be smarter to like snack on something healthier the whole time, but we don't take the preventative measures, we just react to how we're feeling. Next question from Hayden DG. If you could bring back one disc, what would it be and why? One disc, if I could bring it back, I would say there's this disc I found. It might have been a Whammo disc, but I think Innova made it. It's called the Voyager 2. I know Innova molded it because there are little moldings on the back, but it's a slower fairway, I want to say. It might be kind of like a Gazelle, to be honest, but yeah, they fly really good, even in, DX Plastic, which is the only ones I've ever thrown, but I'd bring back the Voyager 2. I think it's underrated fairway. Another beauty routine one. Keith and DG, hair tips. Use shampoo. Make sure you wash your hair. That's all I got. I don't know. I don't do anything to this. I don't even use conditioner, so I'm not the right person to ask. There's definitely more qualified people to give you hair routine tips and techniques. Well, once this starts getting into my eyes, that's when it generally gets chopped all the way off, and then, we just grow it back until it gets there again. So no, I don't really care that much about my hair until it starts getting in the way of my vision. Next question from Big Green Watermelon. How many in-tournament basketball putt shots are we going to see this season? Hopefully 0, because that means I'm behind a bush or something. But it's very possible we'll see some. It's pretty much got to be calm. It needs to be calm because you're exposing a lot of the flight plate. And yeah, I got to be in a very precarious situation where I need to get up and over something really quick. You'll see plenty of them, on the practice green just because I enjoy doing them, but it's definitely not the highest percentage shot to get in the basket most of the time. Next question from Dynamic Violinist 34. What is your favorite course to play, not because of prestige? I would say my favorite course to play is probably my home course, Cliff Stevens, and it's just because it's 10 minutes down the road from my house. Cliff Stevens, I wouldn't say is like the greatest course by any metric, but it's got water hazards, which bring all kinds of wildlife. We got a ton of birds, otters, gators, and you can kind of throw a ton of different lines. It's kind of like a field practice with some obstacles, and yeah, nothing makes more sense than just my home course just because of its convenience to where I live. Next question from DZ is me too. Before disc golf became a steady job, what if any other occupations interested you? Well, I went to college and got my chemical engineering degree, so you would think I would want to do something with that, but honestly, I had no clue what I was going to do with that chemical engineering degree, and that's kind of how I ended up playing disc golf. I graduated the fall of 2017, worked a little as an AutoCAD tech, but I had been doing that since high school, and then, yeah, after about, 4 or 5 months of that, I backpacked in Europe, and when I came back from Europe, I flew out to Idlewild last second, took 7th, and I was like, maybe I could do this. So I drove out to Ledgestone after I flew home, and here I am now, a few years later, still doing it. I have no clue what I would do. From Juju, or maybe it's Juju, all right, whatever, Juju Lily. How is your putter release so powerful, even as far out as 50 feet? A lot of the power on my putt is generated from like a little finger pop / wrist action at the very end. You can kind of practice this if you just I don't have a disc right now, but if you just hold a disc in your hand, even when you're sitting down on a couch, you can kind of just pop it up. Try to pop the disc vertical while you're sitting down without using your arm. Just use your wrist, and then kind of practice. And the higher you can throw it, the more pop you're really going to be getting on the putter. But yeah, you can just do this and just slowly practice getting it higher, and you're just really trying to use your wrist, not really your arm. So that would probably be that's how I do it, and that's a tip to how you can do it too. Next question from Matthew and Joanna Oakley. You never seem frustrated. How do you remain so composed? The simple answer that the internet would probably say is I have no feelings and I have no emotions. So that's probably the answer I should give because that's what you guys think. But in reality, it's just breathe. I mean, we're out here, we're throwing, discs, and it's really not that stressful unless you make it super stressful. So it's just make sure you breathe, don't get lost in the moment, and really just take it one shot at a time. And you're just trying to execute the shot in front of you. Everything else doesn't really matter. Next question from Ben Griffey. What disc has been in your bag the longest? The longest tenured disc in my bag, as of just not mold, but physical disc, is the green Champion T-Bird that I have in my bag. It's my most understable fairway driver. I want to say that disc was put in my bag right before I competed in Junior Worlds in Charlotte in 2012. So it's getting close to, I mean, this is it right here. But yeah, it's been in my bag for forever, pretty much as long as I can remember, and still flies good. You'll see it on tournament coverage, hopefully. Next question from Edgar M. Jimenez. As a beginner, what was one piece of advice that helped you out the most to this day? As a beginner, I would probably say I mean, I don't think I was given this advice, but the advice I would give someone as a beginner was if you're trying to get better, spend way more time on the practice putting green than anywhere else. It's really boring and not fun, but if you're really good at putting, you really don't have to be that good at throwing the disc because your circle that you have to land in gets exponentially bigger every foot you get more comfortable out. So, that 1 foot from 5 to 6 isn't as valuable as that foot from 30 to 31. So, I would just say spend a lot of time putting, but I mean, there's other things like you could really just watch a lot of YouTube. That's how I got good. Just find your favorite pro, watch a lot of YouTube videos. Ooh, I buzzed out. I suck. Next question from Jess IEK. Who is your favorite player to watch, MPO and FPO? These days I don't really watch as much, post-round production, so it's hard to say, but when I was watching a lot of coverage to get better and learn, I would say my favorite to watch when I was getting better was probably Will Shoestrick. He was probably at the top at that time when I was, progressing from like whatever beginner to intermediate to advanced. So I watched a lot of Will Shoestrick, but if I were to watch these days, it's got to be, Paul, Ricky, or Eagle, just because those are the three people that, I got to try to beat every week. Those are the most consistent players. And as far as FPO goes, I don't watch really any post-production FPO. I do go out and walk with Madison Walker, my friend, a good bit. So I guess she would probably be my favorite FPO player to watch. Next question from CMYall10. Practicing which skill most improved your game? Well, I feel like I already answered this question indirectly on another question, but I think putting is the most important thing to practice. It is the easiest thing to practice as long as you can keep your brain and mind, in it. So yeah, putting is definitely the most important part in this game, and you can get really good at it really quick if you dedicate yourself. You have to, that's one of those things where you have to be able to mentally, kind of remove yourself from the outcome of the putt and just try to execute it. I think too often people get kind of caught up in the moment of what the putt means, and they get caught up with like what can happen and the result instead of just executing the putt because our brains suck sometimes. But yeah, if you just sit there and really just look at it as the task at hand, it's not as hard as you think, and I'm pretty sure you know that because you've made 1,000,000 25-footers on your practice basket at home. All right, next question from Shrim Niebrook. Are there any must-stop attractions while on tour that you frequent? If so, what are they and which is your fave? Every year I feel like it's been a little different for me. I don't know. I do like to do a lot of outdoor activities, so I think yeah, it's different every year depending on how the tournaments line up, when the off weeks between tournaments are. But I really like the West Coast and exploring out there in California, Oregon. And then I also really enjoyed going up to the North Shore of Minnesota last year. So I'll probably try to go back there again. It's just really pretty up there. So, and there's a million places everywhere else, but those two came to mind. Typically, I am either hiking or looking for rocks, or I got a couple inflatable kayaks in the car as well. So sometimes I'm paddling if there's time available. But yeah, those are the three main activities. That's all the questions. Thank you for watching. If you want to hear more from me, feel free to also hit me up on my socials, either on Facebook or at Instagram at Heimburg, CHEIMBORG.